Let's say you owe $10,000 on a credit card with a 25% APR. If you only make the minimum payments, you will be debt-free in 2056. 30 years from now, you'll still be paying for cocktails and movie tickets or whatever you bought last weekend on credit. This is how suffocating debt can be when you play by the bank's rules. And I'm not talking about spending $5 on lattes. I don't care about that. In my experience, appetizers or lattes don't even scratch the surface of the real debt mistakes that people make. So if you find yourself looking at your credit card statement each month and wondering, how did I get here? Or saying, wow, I guess I spent that much, this video is for you. And today, I'll show you the 7 debt mistakes that silently keep people broke and how you can break out. This is a dangerous trap. Making the minimum payment is like taking a pile of money and just lighting it on fire. Gone. You'll never see it again. And believe it or not, this is way more common than you think, because debt doesn't actually feel like an emergency to most people. If you're making the minimum payments each month, nobody comes knocking on your door for money. You still have a roof over your head, you still have internet on your phone, but this is a trap that will keep you shackled for years, sometimes decades. Let's do the math on this, because this is gonna hurt. If you have a $10,000 balance on your credit card with a 25% APR, and you're only making the minimum payment, do you know how long it'll take you to pay it off? 30 years. Just to put that in perspective, think about what you're gonna look like in 30 years. Here's what I'll look like in 30 years. Wow, that's amazing. I'm gonna look exactly the same. In fact, I'm gonna have increased my muscle mass. How? We don't know. That's just me. But in your case, it's not gonna be so good. Things are gonna take a very dark turn. And although we can't change Father Time, we can change your freaking debt. The way to escape this trap is simple, but it's not easy. It starts with making a plan that goes beyond the minimum payments. You tackle your highest interest debt first. Let's start even simpler. Make a list of all the debt you have: credit cards, student loans, car loans, mortgage, any of it. All the places where you have to make monthly payments. Usually on that bill, there'll be a section showing the interest rate that you are paying. You can list that interest rate with the percentage next to each amount of debt. Then you want to automate your bills to pay more than the minimum each month on the highest interest. This is your most expensive debt, and it's gonna cost you probably the most over the long haul. Even just paying $50 or $100 extra per month will go a long way if it's high interest debt. Just as an example, if you have high interest debt, a lot of it, and you pay an extra $50 or $100, sometimes you can cut years off of your payment. Later in this video, I'm gonna show you how to build a system to manage all of this. But this right here is an important first step, so don't skip it. Mistake number 2, obsessing over small expenses. If you have a $20,000 balance on your credit card, cutting out a $5 latte twice a week is not gonna fix that. It won't even put a dent in it. Instead, you need to look for the big wins that you can tackle right now. With credit card debt, that means calling the credit card company and trying to negotiate a lower APR. Now, sometimes they will do it for you. They don't want to lose you as a customer, but sometimes they're not going to do it, and that's okay as well. Here's how I would coach you on negotiating if we were sitting face to face. First, pick the credit card debt with the highest APR, call the number on the back of your credit card, go through the hoops, talk to a real person, and then you can say something like this: "Hi, I've made a plan to pay off my credit card debt. I'm starting to pay it off aggressively. I was wondering, what can you do to lower my APR? A lot of your competitors are offering lower interest rates than you are. What can you do?" Then wait and see what they offer. Sometimes they will cut your rate temporarily, and those savings can be massive. For example, with a $10,000 balance at 25% APR, you'd pay $20,000 in interest alone. But if you get that rate down to, let's say, 12%, you'll pay only $9,500 in interest. That's a savings of over $10,000. And this assumes you're making only the minimum payment, which you are not going to do. You're gonna pay more. But here's the key. Sometimes this works, a lot of times it will not. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Don't get depressed. Don't get demoralized. You tried one thing, fine. We're gonna move on to the next. People often try to pay everything off at the same time, and then they wonder why they're not making any progress. With high interest debt, the balances can actually grow faster than your payments can keep up. That's why you sometimes hear stories of people who owe more in interest than the actual amount of the loan. So I want you to be strategic when you are juggling multiple debt loads. Actually, if I can be really honest with you, the best advice I can give you is don't even get in this situation in the first freaking place. But if you're here, we got to deal with it. The highest interest debt should be treated like an emergency. Are you reading the words on my lips? You know how many people I meet? They're just super casual, walking around, like those little horses that dance when they walk. They're like just walking around doing that. Then it turns out that they owe like $32,000 at 26.99%. I'm like, how the are you alive right now? I would be hyperventilating 24/7 if that were me. But maybe that's just because I understand math. Let's talk about how to fix this. There are actually two schools of thought on this. The snowball method says to prioritize the smallest balance first, regardless of interest rate. So if you had $1,000 debt with a 1% interest rate, you would pay that first, and then next you would go to the $10,000 debt at 25%. And the idea here is that debt is psychological. You pay a small amount, pay it off, it's gonna motivate you to keep going. Okay, perfectly valid. The avalanche method is what I've been talking about here. You start with the highest interest rate first. This is more mathematically correct, but it does not take advantage of the psychological benefits of the first approach. Honestly, my take here is pick one. Don't spend more than 5 minutes, just pick one, stick with it. The important thing is to have a plan. I also want to add that it's important to start investing even if you have debt. Start with $50 a month, or if you get a 401k match through work, take advantage of that and contribute as much as possible, ideally to get the full match. Let me show you why this is so important. If Smart Sally starts investing at 25 years old and contributes $100 a month for just 10 years, and then she stops, she does nothing else, lets the money sit and grow, by the time she turns 65, she'll have about $130,000. This assumes a 7% annual return, and yes, it already includes inflation. Do not leave a comment with the word inflation on this video, please. Or on the other hand, we have naive Noah. He starts investing at age 35, and he invests $100 a month, but this time, instead of 10 years, he invests for 30 years. Guess how much he has at the same age of 65, even though he invested for 30 years compared to 10 years. What's the lesson here? Don't be naive Noah. The longer you wait, the more pain you are going to incur. With investing, time is your best friend. You can never get it back, and you only have one shot. It's only going forward. So start investing today, even if it's $50 a month. That will set you up for a much richer life when you are out of debt. Now, if you are serious about getting out of debt and living your rich life, just hit subscribe. We are building that system right here every single week. I'm showing you step by step what to do. Let's now get to the next mistake. This is something that can put you back in the hole, even if you have made years of progress on your debt. Mistake number 4, ignoring your savings. Guys, savings is your safety net. It may be the unexpected expenses that you didn't have money for that put you into debt in the first place. I don't want you to end up in that situation again. The time to make a plan and to prepare for something going wrong in life is right now. That is the real difference between people who are living a rich life and everyone else. People living a rich life have a plan before they need it. How do you do it? Take 5 to 10% of your take-home pay, your after-tax pay, and put it in a separate high-yield savings account. Do this automatically so you don't even have to think about it. Now, I know what you're about to say. Ramit, that's outrageous. How dare you? What about the economy? Let me be extremely blunt with you right now. If you automatically set 5% of your take-home pay to go to a savings account, I can almost guarantee you will not miss it. You won't even know that it's there. That after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you're going to see that money growing. So please expect more of yourself. Okay, I've thrown a lot at you so far. You have debt, sometimes from multiple sources, and you have to save and invest on top of that. That's a lot to juggle, and it's really easy to drop the ball if you're not careful, but that brings me to the next mistake. Normally, when people get serious about debt, they get this burst of motivation. They start making these fancy spreadsheets. They spend 3 days downloading the perfect budget, but this often leads to overwhelm and burnout. We are not looking for short-term motivation. We are looking for long-term systemic change. It's counterintuitive, but the more you try to manage your money, and I'm talking about tracking the price of freaking iceberg lettuce, the more that takes control of you. Instead, I want to recommend my conscious spending plan. This is free, it is very simple, and it does most of the work for you. And it's way easier to track than budgeting and checking your accounts every single day. There are 4 key parts. That's all you need to know. 4. The first part is your fixed costs. These are your non-negotiable expenses to keep your life going, like rent or mortgage, utilities, insurance, car payments, all of your debt payments, groceries. Your fixed costs should be 50 to 60% of your take-home pay. And you want to automate your bills so that you don't even have to think about paying these things. This is really important when tackling debt because one missed payment can trigger late fees and penalties and can even sink your credit score. So automation keeps you on track, Even if life gets in the way or you don't get a bill in the mail for some reason, boom, it's gonna be taken care of. Next up in the conscious spending plan, you have your investments. I usually recommend 10% for this. That's 10% of take-home pay. But if you're paying down debt, that might be a little bit less. You might redirect some of that money to high interest debt. The only caveat is if you work somewhere with a 401k match, I would highly encourage you to contribute to get the full match. That might be 4 to 5%. Check your workplace benefits to make sure. The third part of the conscious spending plan is your savings. Now, I just talked about this. 5 to 10% automatically gets transferred to a high yield savings account, and this can bail you out if an emergency comes up. Finally, the last part of the conscious spending plan is guilt-free spending. This is where you take 20 to 35% of your take-home pay and you spend it on whatever you want, eating out, travel, drinks, whatever. Now, let me be really direct. In no world can somebody who's paying off $10,000 of high-interest credit card debt be taking vacations. I don't know how everybody got so used to this. I find it completely insane. In my opinion, you absolutely should have some guilt-free spending money, even if you are in debt. I think we all need to live. We need to live a little bit. But the 20 to 35% guideline should almost certainly be reduced if you have credit card debt. I talk to couples all the time. They have a lot of credit card debt. We get that number down to 10%, sometimes 8%. They can still eat out maybe once or twice a month. They have to be highly selective. They have to plan it. But by taking the extra money and redirecting it to credit card debt payments, they can shave years off of how long they're in debt. Now, let me give you a specific suggestion. If you want to cut your discretionary spending, I highly suggest doing it gradually. Take your top 2 to 3 discretionary expenses and target cutting them by 50% over the course of about 6 months. Now, I already know what your top discretionary expense is. I can see the photos in my comments. It's eating out. Like half of you take a photo, your own headshot, with you holding a cheeseburger. Oh, Ramit, are you accounting for inflation? Stop eating this in your headshot and also stop spending $1,800 a month eating out when you have $4,000 in credit card debt. What world am I living in right now? All right, so if you go out to eat 4 times a month, well, first of all, we know you're lying because you and I both know you eat out more than 4 times a month. Let's say you eat out 20 times a month. Okay, let's get real. The next month, you cut that down to 16. Then you cut that down to 13 and then 12. By the time it's 6 months have come around, you have slashed 50% off of your spending for that expense and the next 2 big discretionary expenses. Take that money, redirect it to your debt. You will be shocked how fast you pay that debt off. And please remember, going cold turkey does not work. Systems do. I want you to stop guessing. I want you to stop agonizing. I want you to build your system and let it work for you. You know, this is exactly what I teach in my money coaching program. Have you ever heard anyone get as specific as just now about how to pay debt off years faster? If you feel like you are working hard, but you're not actually getting ahead, like you're checking your balance and you're tracking all this stuff, but you're like, where's my money going? You are not broken. You just don't have a system that is working for you. And that is exactly what my money coaching program gives you. Inside, I personally walk you through how to build your entire financial system. The same system thousands of my students have used to pay off debt, automate their savings, start investing, and finally start spending guilt-free on the things you love. And it's personalized for you. You can literally just upload a few bills and we will create a personalized debt payoff plan. We will show you ways to save money that you have not even thought of. We'll even give you word for word scripts so that you can negotiate your bills down. You don't have to feel guilty anymore. You don't have to delay or procrastinate. You will have a clear plan that runs on autopilot 24/7. And the best part, you can do this all in 48 hours. In one weekend, you will have a personalized plan and you will be off to the races. So if you're serious about changing your finances, don't just watch this video and then move on. Take action. Join my money coaching program right now. You can click the link below or scan this QR code. Build your system once and let it work for you for the rest of your life. The next mistake is uncomfortable to face, but I think it's well worth tackling it. Imagine being in a long-term relationship. Things are going great when out of nowhere, you find out your partner has been sitting on 6 figures of debt and they never told you. Does that change your perception of them? Does it change your future plans together? Believe it or not, this situation happens a lot. Couples fight over looming debt, or worse, they actually don't talk about it at all. If you have $100,000 of debt and you're about to marry someone, hell, if you have $10,000 of debt and you're about to marry someone, it is important to talk about it first. Here's the exact word-for-word script you can use to bring it up. Hey, I feel nervous sharing this with you, but I think it's important that you know. As you know, I changed careers a couple of years back, and that meant going back to school and taking on loans. I have $100,000 left to pay. I'm currently making more than the minimum payments, and my plan is to put any bonuses towards repayment as well. Or let's say you racked up a bunch of credit card debt because you were just going out in your 20s. Try this script. You know what? I want to be really honest about something. It's hard for me to bring up, but in my 20s, I made some financial mistakes. I was going out a lot. I spent more than I should have, and I wasn't paying attention. I ended up with $20,000 in credit card debt. I'm still paying it off. In the last couple of years, I have had a plan and I've made good progress on it. And I know that it's going to be paid off in the next 2 years. But it's just really important for me to be honest about this because I've been bottling it up for a long time. Do you see how empowering it is to actually confront this debt and talk about it openly? If this is you, your job is to show 3 things. Number 1, acknowledge it. It happened. Number 2, you have taken responsibility. And number 3, you have a plan. This is about building that trust. It's not about dumping spreadsheets and going into the weeds about interest rates. It's about acknowledging what you did and what you were going to do. I've actually written a New York Times best-selling book on this subject. It's called Money for Couples. You can check it out if you want to know more about how to build a shared vision and get on the same page with your partner. You can get it on Amazon or from your local bookstore or public library. Okay, we've made it to the final debt mistake, and it's probably the one that keeps people stuck for the longest. When saddled with debt, a surprising number of people will say they'll start after the holidays, or when they get a raise, or some other arbitrary milestone in the distant future. This is a huge mistake. The longer you delay taking action, the more it's going to cost you in the long run. Please remember, time is on your side when you are investing. Time works against you when you have debt. So your debt is becoming bigger and bigger as you delay taking actions. Sometimes I wish I could show you how much you are paying every single day by delaying making a debt payoff plan. For some people, it's over $100 a day. Can you imagine just walking to the window and taking a $100 bill and lighting it on fire? And then the next day you do the same thing, and the next day you do the same thing, all because you go, I'll do it later? You would be absolutely outraged. But because it's quietly accumulating somewhere and it's not clear how much it is, you don't care. I'll never allow that to happen. Now, if you can only pay $50 above the minimum payment on your high interest debt, great. It's better to do that than to be okay with the minimum. Remember, we're not trying to be perfect. We're trying to make progress. So build those habits now with small steps. And that way, if and when you get a higher paying job or a big bonus or a tax refund, you know exactly where you're going to send the money next. If you want to know more about debt mistakes, check out this video on buying and leasing cars. Even if you're not in the market for a car, it's good to see how dealerships can trick you and keep you trapped for years.